of us are all too familiar with a lot of Instagram pages that have in their bio, oh, I lost my main page at 20,000 followers. Please follow this new page. And we see that popping up quite often. But the truth is, do we know how that happens? Do we know what we can do to avoid it? Today, we'll be learning about cybersecurity. I have with me a guest on Tiki Talks today, and he's a leading cybersecurity and IT expert. His name is Mayowa Owoeye. Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, my name is Owoeye Adekoya, and I'd like to welcome you to Tiki Talks. Tiki Talks is that space where we talk about career, businesses, how to navigate the workplace, and getting ahead with all the challenges that we see in today's world. So hello Mayowa, and welcome to Tiki Talks.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's get right into it. Cybersecurity sounds like a big word, right? Can you help us demystify it? What really is cybersecurity?
Okay. Cybersecurity is basically the protection of your computers, your servers, your mobile devices, your electronic devices, your networks, your data. Protecting all of these devices from malicious attacks. So, today, 20 years ago, cybersecurity wasn't a big deal. There were not so many security breaches and all, but today we have at least 90% of African businesses being targeted.
Wow.
For cybersecurity attacks these days. So, it's a very imperative area which we need to put more focus into.
Interesting. That's quite interesting. So, as a small business operating in Nigeria and UK, practically anywhere in the world, so why do I need to care about cybersecurity?
Okay, African businesses today are supposed to spend about $22 billion on cybersecurity if we are really going to be cyber secure.
Really?
Yeah. And we have about 90% of African businesses really grossly under budgeted when it comes to cybersecurity protocols. Now, what does this tell us? This tells us that a lot of small and medium-sized businesses are not being cybersecurity compliant. We have businesses today, built around social media. Someone has an Instagram handle, somebody runs his or her business off Facebook, somebody has a WhatsApp page or WhatsApp community where he or she sells and markets his or her products and all of that. Yeah, these are part of the mobile devices that I mentioned earlier that cybersecurity is all about protecting. So due to the under-budgeting of these cybersecurity measures, unfortunately, a lot of businesses lose large revenues on an annual basis. So I used to consult for a small business, a few years ago, and I was supposed to help out in some information security solutions, and I was supposed to get access to their cloud systems. And the business owner sent me a notepad that had all of his usernames and passwords, bank account details, children's passwords, email and passwords for his children and all of that. I screamed immediately. I called him and I told him immediately, and he sent it over WhatsApp.
Wow.
I told him immediately he should please delete it off WhatsApp, first of all, and I told him I was going to discuss with him later on and explain to him, typical cybersecurity practices.
But sorry to cut you short, but there's this illusion that WhatsApp is secure. They talk about end-to-end encryption and all that. So why did you tell him to delete it?
Yeah, well, WhatsApp says it's secure, and if Mark Zuckerberg says it's secure, then let's keep it that way. But as human beings, security is the responsibility of you and I. And security is not complete without you and I.
Interesting. Without you and I. Interesting.
Yeah. So, Mark has done his own part of securing your WhatsApp, and you have to do your own part. Let me give you a typical example. if I get into your okay, so for my client that sent his username and passwords in plain text to me, if I get into your WhatsApp, let's say from WhatsApp web or from another channel, maybe somehow I'm doing some work on your phone and have access to your WhatsApp, I can just do a quick search and I can just type password. And everybody you've had a chat with and you've said password, it's going to come out very easily.
Oh, wow.
Very, very easily. And I mean, this is social engineering. Mark Zuckerberg cannot help you with that, cannot protect you with that.
Yeah.
Another bad password practice I will tell you is something I noticed in one of the organizations I worked previously. I noticed that a lot of people send username and passwords in the same emails, and it's a very bad practice. And what I advise people is, you want to give someone access to a platform, you could send the username in an email, then the password via WhatsApp message or via Teams or a separate platform. That makes you secure. That keeps you secure, and I mean, it's not allowing a hacker to get direct access to your information and direct access to whatever platform that you have. We can't overemphasize the importance of two-factor authentication. Now, it's very important to use what you have, what you know, and what you are. I mean, what you have could be your token, or it could be your phone. Your phone could be used as a soft token. What you know is actually your password. So maybe your password, your PIN, 4-digit PIN, 5-digit PIN, and what you are is actually you. So I mean, you could also use it. That could also double as your biometric, maybe an eye scan, a fingerprint, or any of those. So the combination of any of those, I mean, keeps you protected on the second factor authentication. And like I said, most platforms today ensure that you have that second level of authentication. So someone doesn't just have free access into your email or into your social media platform or whatever electronic platform we're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. So what level of protection would you say the two-factor? Is it foolproof, right? Or are there still some risks in the two-factor authentication?
Definitely not foolproof. And like I said, security is not complete without you and I. And you have your part to play. And there's also the social engineering aspect. So we look at things like I'll give another example. In one of my former organizations, part of my security awareness, because part of my responsibility is to ensure that everyone is aware security-wise and everybody's cybersecurity conscious. And we noticed that we had quite a number of reports on broken laptops, laptops with spilled with coffee, milk, and the likes, and all of that. So we noticed that, and I mean, we noticed that people take their laptops home, and I mean, they just leave it open, and don't and they have children, family members, and random people having access to their systems. So because of this, we had to implement measures to ensure that the systems are protected, and that's by locking the systems. Initially, we had a policy we pushed out to ensure the systems get locked in 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes of idle time. We had to increase that to actually 3 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 3 minutes, you're off your computer automatically locks, and that policy is pushed directly from a central location. So, I mean, these are things that can be implemented. I mean, that was within my organization then. We have other way. I mean, you can do that personally and ensure that your system, gets locked, your phone gets locked, and nobody has direct access to your device or your platform.
Okay, interesting. So what other mistakes are businesses making these days?
Okay. I think I'll still talk about the passwords, and I'll give another example and a practice we've noticed, as cybersecurity experts. And if I ask a couple of people in the room today, do you have your date of birth, or do you have elements of your date of birth in your passwords today? I can tell you categorically that at least 70% of the people in the room will have that, and I want to explain something called brute force attack. And brute force attack is a process whereby I get onto your, I get access to your email or your electronic platform, whatever it is, and I keep testing passwords, and as a hacker or as an ethical hacker, I'll put it that way. The first things I will try is your date of birth.
Really?
Yes. Mixture of your first name. I'll first try your first name, your last name, your first name, your date of birth. Okay, so let's say you're born in 1st of January 1970.
Okay.
I'm going to try Oreolua 01. Then I'll try Oreolua 01 again. So that's January, 1st of January. So it was February to be 02.
Okay.
I will also try Oreolua 1970. Then I will try 0101 1970 as your password. Then I will try Oreolua 0101 1970. Then I'll try Oreolua 0101 or then Oreolua 01. So
you keep iterating.
I'll keep iterating it and give me about, maybe if I have time, and of course the hackers always have time, especially when it's financially inclined, give me that time. With time, I'll get the password, and it's called a brute force attack. So we've noticed that most businesses make that mistake and keep their passwords susceptible to cybersecurity attacks. Most of the business through this process make themselves susceptible to cybersecurity attacks.
That's really, I'm sure a lot of people are not even aware of these things that they're making themselves vulnerable about.
No, they're not aware. Another thing we advise is we notice that a lot of people write their passwords on paper. And I'll tell you that any password written on paper is already 50% compromised.
Really?
Oh, yes.
What if I keep the paper in a safe under my bed?
There's no safe way you can keep a paper. It's written. A password is supposed to be in your head, and it's not supposed to be written. It's actually not even supposed to be written on your computer. Some people actually have notepads where they keep all, like the clients I told you about. They have notepads where they keep all of their passwords. It's still a security risk.
But these days, you have different platforms that say you have to have one uppercase, one lowercase, one symbol, one number, and then sometimes it's so hard to keep up with all those passwords that you actually have to write them down. Personally, I have forgotten passwords, and then I have to do forgot password, and then to help, you may have to resort to pen and paper so that you don't forget.
This is another practice that we usually advise, around password management, personal password management. That's what it's called, and there are different skills to it, and one of the most common skills that I'll explain, but it can be you can have a variety of ways of doing it. Is the alphanumeric. So you could choose alphanumeric characters, from the 26 letters, and maybe your A, you change it to an at, or maybe you change it to the A with a dot on top, or that's a special character. Your I, you can change it to number 1.
Okay.
What else? Your 3, you can change your E, you can change it to 3.
Okay.
Your S, you can change it to $. So
So
the combination of this, and today they're actually they're password crackers. And password crackers, the way I explained how I will manually hack your password, they're actually password crackers. They're actually applications that can crack passwords, and in seconds they're testing millions of passwords in seconds.
Wow.
Yes, and what is happening is that what's happening is that it starts with 26 alphabets, then goes to the numbers. So and that's why we will advise people. We usually advise people to add numbers and special characters to your password, because the alphabets, there's a combination of 26. There's a permutation and combination you can use with 26 letters, and within those letters, if they're password crackers that can crack all of the 26 letter combinations of passwords in seconds.
Really?
Yes. But if you have numbers, numbers are infinite. You have numbers added to it. Those that it dispels the activity of those password crackers now add special characters, which is the alphanumeric strategy I told you about. That, I mean, you could have your password, but just change it. Yes, that is also risky because, I mean, if you have even if you have an alphanumeric password and you write it down, it still has the 50% risk. But with the password crackers, it makes it harder. You know, someone that has only 5 minutes access to your system, you know, needs about maybe 24 hours or even more, 72 hours or more, or even 30 days of cracking the letters, the numbers, and the special characters.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Quite interesting. Okay. So finally, what business opportunities are available in cybersecurity?
The opportunities are endless as regards cybersecurity. Um, a lot of people actually ask me this question, and you know, they tell me, I want to be a cybersecurity specialist. What can I do? What can I do? Especially people that don't have a background in technology. But I'll tell you that cybersecurity, to become a cybersecurity expert, you need to have a background in technology.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. First of all, background in basic system administration, basic networking. I mean, so you know exactly how the networks work, what the hackers are going to look at, you know, and all of that. You need to have experience with cloud computing. I mean, most of the investment in IT these days are moving off the on-premise infrastructure. They're moving to the cloud. So you need to understand how the cloud works, AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure. That's the one from Microsoft. I mean, so with that background, you can now move to the level of being a cybersecurity expert, you know, and now take various courses, have an understanding of the practices that people have these days. Now, getting directly to the point of the various opportunities. The opportunities around security operations center analysts. I mean, that's like the most common one these days, the SOC analyst. So basically, what you do is you monitor trends. Maybe you have like a big screen or something. You can see the actual vulnerabilities in real time of what's happening. You know, setting that up, setting the security operations center up. You know, thereabout. In banks today, there's a classification that they do. There's something called the blue team and the red team. So
like the bomb, if it cuts the blue.
you can look at it that way. So basically, the blue team, their responsibility is to protect. You know, so they're in charge of securing the defenses, ensuring the defenses are up. You know, putting measures in place to ensure the institutions are secure, you know, and all of that. You know, the red team are now the ones that actually carry out the vulnerability attacks on the system. They actually test the attacks on the system. So the red team is all the time looking for vulnerabilities within the organization, you know, and so basically the red and the blue team are always, you know, against each other. But there's also the purple team. So I mean, the members of the purple team are the members that actually carry out roles in the blue team and the purple team. So also today in the financial technology industry, we have regulatory bodies, and in Nigeria specifically, we have the PCI DSS standards. We have the NDPA standard. That's the Nigerian Data Protection Act, which ensures that our data is protected, and there a long set of rules that each organization has to follow today. You know, there's also the ISO 27001, which is the information security audit, which ensures that it's an international standard that helps you to benchmark against information security standards. And today, most organizations that deal with finance, especially financial transactions, want to benchmark on these standards, and some of the standards. PCI DSS is regulatory, so it's mandatory, you know, from the regulator. Our regulator today is the Central Bank of Nigeria. So as long any organization that deals with card data has to be PCI DSS compliant, you know. And also most of the fintechs also from the CBN have to benchmark on the ISO 27001, which is the information security ISMS standard. The same thing with the NDPA Act, which is a regulation from NITDA. That's another one of our regulatory bodies. Now, the opportunities in this area are endless. Today we have, so as I explained about the red and the blue team, I mean, upskilling yourself, for any of those teams is in high demand. Statistics show that about 75% of the cybersecurity opportunities in Africa are not filled up. So we still have that skill gap. It's a very, very large skill gap. And if you're ready to skill up yourself, and like I said, you start with the basis of networking, systems administration, before you now go to the level of the actual cybersecurity. The opportunities are endless for you.
Wow, interesting. I've had such an amazing time interviewing Mayowa Owoeye today, a leading and experienced cybersecurity and IT expert. I have learned so much, and I hope you have as well. And if you did, please ensure that you subscribe, you like, and you share this particular channel. And please click the notification button to ensure you're notified whenever there's a new episode. Until we come your way again, it's Owoeye signing out. Thank you.